Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nakiba Jackson and welcome to Freedom Fridays. Freedom Fridays is our opportunity to be able to talk to you about the things that I am releasing that has had a stronghold on my mind, my life, and allowing me not to live to my fullest potential. And as I release those things from the past, it also is allowing me to free my mind of so many other things and free up my space. And I'm releasing weight, energy, and so much more. We are doing this 6-part series, and the 6-part series is about reversing fear. And fear, in terms for this acronym for this series, is false evidence about reality. In the first week, we talked about rehabilitation in terms of the first part of reversing fear. The second week, we talked about elevation. And then the third step for this week is going to be talking about vibration. So, one of the things that I've discussed is really being afraid to talk about the things that I'm afraid to talk about, especially in a public forum, because it's something that has given me an opportunity to think about all the negative things that comes along with it. People learning more about me, people judging me, and things about that. And so when I talked about rehabilitation, talked about just changing up my mindset, fixing the thing that was putting me in a position where I thought it was not okay to talk about what I was going through, so I can allow myself to work towards the healing step. Last week I talked about elevations. Once you rehabilitate, then you elevate your thinking. Elevate your thinking in terms of knowing that it's something greater that's coming as a result of pushing past that fear when you reverse it. And so this week we're going to talk about vibrations. Vibrations is very important. Vibrations is the things that's underneath that you can feel it moving. And sometimes vibrations are very low and sometimes they're very high. And so it's just like kinetic type of energy that you feel that's just moving along with you. So in terms of this week, talking about reversing fear, you want to work on what you're vibrating. And when I say what you're vibrating, it's like, what are the things that you're unwilling to acknowledge, to focus on, and what's holding you back. When you recognize what's holding you back, then it no longer becomes something that you're vibrating. You have the power and ability to change it. So for me, when I talk about being nervous or afraid to talk about the things that I am dealing with or focusing on, some of the things on the low level that I discussed was, hey, what if someone says this? What if someone thinks that about me? And then on the other end, it's like, well, is that a reality? Yes, it is a reality. Someone will judge you. Recognize that. The question that I would say is, people are always going to judge you. So what if they do judge you? So if people are judging you, the judgment shouldn't matter as long as you know who you are. So when you're trying to get on the other side of what you're afraid of, recognize what you are actually afraid of happening. And then ask yourself, and if it happens, then what? What if that happens and whatever you're afraid of happens as well? Wouldn't you be happy that you actually went through it just to be able to get it? So for an example, for me, when I birthed my child, I've only had one child. And the funny thing was I was pregnant with her, and I was watching all these videos about childbirth and everything like that. And so I was imagining what life was going to be like when she got here. And I was just imagining so much things on what everything was going to be. However, for the life of me, it did not hit me. The reality of it didn't hit me in terms of she's going to have to get here some way. So I had gotten the epidural, and it didn't take all the way because I was having some issues that was stopping it from taking all the way. And I would like to say it was an opportunity for me to actually face my pain. So when it was time to push, well, when the doctor said however many centimeters I was dilated, and they said, oh, it's time for this baby to come. And I looked like, how she's going to get here? I wanted to be knocked out. I didn't want to go through the pain. I just wanted to wake up and my child was there. However, she was coming. She was on the way. And what was going to be true was I didn't want to go through the pain, but I had to go through the pain for her to get here if I wanted her to get here in some shape, form, or fashion. If I didn't go through the pain at that moment, I was going to experience it later on. So for me, what was vibrating, what I didn't understand was the fact that I was going to be experiencing pain, but I was going to have a child that I wanted to hold in my arms. So both of those things were true. Pain, had I felt that type of pain before? No. Was I going to survive? Hopefully I was going to survive, but as you can see, I did survive. Was I going to be able to hold my child? Yes. So when you recognize all of the things that you're actually dealing with, that you're afraid of, and then you recognize what's on the other side of that is what you really want, you still go through it. I mean, at that point, I was like, how is this child going to get here? My sister was right there next to me like, you kind of crazy. You know how this child's going to get here. So, without getting all the details, I pushed through it. I felt a ring of fire as I just found out the week before I went into childbirthing class. I felt all of that, even though I had gotten the epidural. I was on whatever medicine they was giving me in the hospital. And when it was time when they told me I needed to push, there was no turning back. So that's what you got to look at it. When you're vibrating on a level that you recognize, no matter what you're vibrating, on the other side of that is what you're working towards. So all those things can still be true, but it doesn't mean that you don't get to push through it anyway. So that's what I'm going to tell you. Recognize what you're vibrating. Recognize the reality of it. Recognize, hey, even though those things may happen, I'm still looking forward to what's on the other end of it, because on the other end, you'll find just so much more happiness, so much more peace, and nothing lasts forever. So even though you find happiness and peace on the other side, you also still know that you are always working towards getting better, moving towards the things that you're afraid of so you can focus on something else. Because for me, on the other side of that childbirth and holding my child is the reality of becoming a parent. I mean, you can control what happens for the most part in your mind. You can control where your child is inside of your body. But once your child gets outside of your body, it's a whole different playing field. And but it's something that you were looking towards. And that's what I'm talking about, the fear. It's okay to be afraid, but recognize what you're afraid of and start vibrating on a level that even though it's going to be painful, even though it's going to be something that's uncertain, I am still going to move beyond this, because I know what's on the other end is one step closer to me getting where I want to be. And I'm moving beyond this to let myself see that I'm worth it, to let myself see that I am amazing and that I can do whatever I put my mind to, that I can push through the pain, that I can push through all the things that are trying to hold me back, and I still can get a different version of my reality, which is victory. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week. Make sure you recognize what you're vibrating and acknowledge your vibrations and change them and elevate them, because that's what gets you to the point of moving beyond your fear. So that's all I wanted to share this week. I want to invite you to continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And also hit the notification bell so you can see when the new Freedom Fridays post. Thank you again for joining us, and share with us in the comment section. Has this helped you? What are some of the things that you're vibrating that you need to shift your vibrations on? So as you're pushing through your fear, it'll still propel you to pushing through your fear so you can reverse it. Have a great week. Bye.